Let's see. Is this okay? Yeah. Yeah. Wally? I'm very honored to be up here looking at you right now. I think in the history of music that I've been through over the years, I've known Wally probably, it's got to be at least 40 years. Meeting you, I think I've known you for a total of about maybe 2.5 minutes, maybe 3. But it seems a lot longer just because of your music. I've got a few notes. I want to start off basically talking about his musical history. As far as business goes, I can leave that up to somebody else, because I really don't know. I know about the music, the records that he's made, and some of the records that he's produced. To start off, the first experience I think they had as a professional group, calling themselves the Hearts, and at that time, which was what, about 1956? 1953, okay. 1953, they were calling themselves the Hearts. And at that time, they didn't realize that there was a female group, girl group, the Hearts, who had a little bit later made a recording called Lonely Nights, which was a fairly big hit, especially on the East Coast. West Coast, I'm not sure whether it was a top 10 record, but it was a hit. Now, their first recording session, and they did have to change the name, and decided on the Heartbeats Quintet. That was done 1955. Heartbeats Quintet, the song was entitled Tormented. And as time went by, they had rehearsed quite a bit, improved as a vocal group, but they needed some venue to be able to get their message out there as a vocal group. Some of the people that helped them establish that, I have a list here. Well, number one was, I think, Dr. Jive with the Apollo Theater, performing there. Then as word spread, they wound up working with Dick Clark and American Bandstand, where they got exposure also. A little bit later, Brooklyn Academy with Alan Freed, and also with Jocko, New York Paramount Theater. So at that point, they began recording for the Hall label. Crazy for You was their first hit, and it struck a chord with people across the country, from East Coast to West Coast and all other points around. Then they had other songs that were released which were also popular on the Hall label. Your Way, People Are Talking, Darling How Long. And they had a following which culminated into their major hit, 1,000 Miles Away. Yeah, that was released on the Hall label. It was a fairly well-distributed label on the East Coast. But because the record was selling so rapidly, and there was so much demand for it around the country, they hooked up with Rama, George Golder, who had a series of labels, which included Rama, Dawn, End, the End label, the Chantels, Roulette,